Hello everyone, my name is Richie and welcome back to another video, and today we're having a look at Train Sim World 5 because it's finally here. We've waited for so long, what, 3 or 4 weeks, and it's felt like forever, but it's finally here. Look at the Pendolino in all its glory. So in today's video we're going to be having a little look at the core features and the routes timetables just to show you what you get out of the free core routes. Obviously I've got the deluxe edition, so if you want to get the Pendolino and the Flixtrain Vectron, as you can see there, you need to get the deluxe version. So yeah, let's jump into Train Sim World 5 and have a look at its core features. We're going to have a little go at Conductor Mode, we're going to have a look at fast travel. We won't be looking at route hopping just because there's not really any routes to hop to just yet, but once the compatible content can come across the Train Sim World 5, then we will have a look at that. Obviously, another thing to note is the fact that release day, the official release day, is the 17th of September, so any compatible content hasn't come across yet. If you're not seeing your compatible content in Train Sim World 5 just yet, it's because it's not available until the actual release day, which is the 17th. So yeah, with all that said and done, let's jump into Train Sim World 5, and firstly I'm going to show you the different routes that you get and the sort of services and layers and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, let's jump on into it. So here we go, this is Train Sim World 5 and the UI is very nice. Very nice indeed. It took me a minute to get my head around it, but it's very similar to Train Sim World 4, obviously just a different sort of colour scheme. You've obviously got all the usual stuff of going to the trains and to the routes. You've also got Creators Club down here, which is very much similar to what it was before. We've of course still got the training centre, which is essentially the core game. So the whole free version, if you want to get the free version because you're not too fussed about the core routes, you can get it for free and you essentially get the training centre and all your previous add-ons, and that's free for the first month. It's free to claim for the first month and then yours to keep thereafter. So make sure that if you just want to get the free version, you get that. I will show you how to do that once it comes around to it. But yeah, you can get the core game for free. So yeah, let's jump to the trains and have a look at the core routes as part of Train Sim World 5, and get ready for this, a lovely PowerPoint presentation slide. I love that. So yeah, you've got the route option there, you've got pick a train, so you can just pick any train and jump into the route that it does its services on. Obviously once the full version comes out on the 17th, you'll be able to see all your trains there. So before we jump into the core routes, just to quickly caveat that this is on the PlayStation 5, so if you're on Gen 8, you know, PS4 or Xbox One, you might not see all of these layers. Don't panic, it's just because that some layers have been removed because, well, the old consoles can't keep up to it. And that's just simply down to the fact that Gen 8 just can't handle all of the different layers, and that's kind of been a theme for the last couple of iterations of Train Sim World. So Gen 8's just falling behind a little bit, and that's because, well, Gen 8's old now. Gen 8's 11 years old, so yeah. Just wanted to quickly throw that out there before we jump into the routes, just so you didn't get confused or anything. So yeah, let's jump into the routes. So here we go, here's the routes you get with Deluxe Edition. As you can see, we've got the free core routes there, and you've got Cajon Pass, which you get as part of the Deluxe Edition as well. So if you don't have Cajon Pass, get Deluxe and you get that as well. We're obviously not going to look too much at Cajon Pass because it doesn't really do much. It just adds freight to San Bernardino line, but we'll have a look at each of the routes and the timetable. So I think we're going to jump into San Bernardino line first. So in the San Bernardino line, you get 308 services, which is split into 2 separate timetables. You've also got 5 scenarios there. Raceway, which I think is something to do with there's a NASCAR track halfway along the route, so that's quite a cool one. You've got Depot Days, Eye of the Storm, Rescue at the Ranch, and Graduation Day. So some nice scenarios there. And of course, you've got a route training module, as you would expect for each route. But yeah, let's jump into the timetable. And as you can see, there's 2 separate timetables. There's a standard one, or a weekday one, and a weekend one. The key difference between these 2 timetables is that the standard, or the weekday one, is more passenger focused, and the weekend one is more freight focused. So yeah, the new loco for the San Bernardino line is the MP36PH, which we have seen before in the Peninsula Corridor, but obviously it's been massively reworked, and it's in Metrolink livery, and you get some new coaches and all that sort of good stuff. You've also got the F125, which we first saw in the Antelope Valley line. Obviously you don't need to have Antelope to enable it in this, so it comes as part of the package. So the MP36 and the F125 obviously do Los Angeles Union to San Bernardino one way, and then the cab car on the way back. Obviously you've got the Rotom cab car here. And then for freight, we've got the BNSF locos, and obviously once the layers come across on the 17th, you will also see the Sherman Hill UP trains as well, which you can operate. So yeah, here's a little scroll through the MP36's timetable, and as you can see, there's a lot of non-revenue stuff, LA Union, San Bernardino, mainly, you know, towards San Bernardino. They don't really go the other way, I don't think, anyway. And of course the cab car goes the other way. There's a lot of lengthy runs on this, some of them are almost 2 hours long. This is the timetable for the ES44, and as you can see, a lot of switching and all that sort of good stuff. I'm not overly fussed by freight, but if you like your American freight, you've got a bit of fun there. I'll tell you what we are going to do. We're going to jump into LA Union. Let's do that. Let's jump in around about 8 o'clock in the morning and just have a look at LA Union. It's going to look very nice, I can imagine. I must admit, I really like these loading screens. The loading screens look so much better. Right, here we go, LA Union, and as you can see, all the F125s, beautiful stuff. As we move around, you can see here, this is a route hopping point, so if we had the Antelope Valley installed, you'd be able to jump to the Antelope Valley, and I think the ones that say locked are obviously, if you don't own the Antelope Valley, it tells you what you need to route hop. Obviously, route hop comes to the new routes, and is also usable on the older routes as well, so things like Raw's Ignored, you can route hop at Hagen, and also all the London Terminal you can hop between as well. I must admit, LA Union's looking nice and busy. To be fair, this is my first look at LA Unions in Train Sim World 5 because we didn't really look at it last night. We only looked at the sort of speedway to San Bernardino section, so it's looking very busy. I like it. What's down there? I didn't know you could go down here before. Was this a thing in Antelope Valley? I don't even know. Look at that. I didn't even spot that before. Look at that nice little concourse down here. You can really hear the roar of the diesel engines above. Beautiful. Right. Whilst we're here, we're also going to do the fast travel. We're going to have a look at that and the live map as well. In fact, let's do it. This is the live map, the new map that you get as part of Train Sim World 5. Obviously, a key thing with this new map is that if you zoom into a station, it will tell you what station it is and the platform numbers as well, which is really useful. So if you're doing a service and you're coming into Glasgow Central Platform 10, for example, you'll be able to see on the map which platform you're due to go into. You can also see on this new map you've got some signal information as well, so that's saying it's restricting. There's some information somewhere saying that there's certain speeds as well. That I spotted yesterday, that's all stop, all that sort of good stuff. Oh, you've even got siding information, nice. I like these labels, they're quite cool. So yeah, using this new map you can have a little search around and try and find somewhere to fast travel to. So let's try and find a station down here. I'm trying to think where the speedway one is. Oh, yeah, here's some information. If you click onto a train as well and you hover over it, it'll tell you what the service number is and where it's going. So if you want to race that train, if you want to pick up that train or get onto it, you can fast travel somewhere. So let's fast travel here, and you'll see that that train will approach very shortly. So let's jump to Covina. And just like that, we're here at Covina. Lovely stuff. And if I go onto the map again, you'll see that that train we were just looking at will be coming soon very shortly. Where is it? Is it coming from this way? Possibly. There it is. Look, there you go. So that train we've just looked at the map, we can jump to somewhere else in the route and see it going past. I think it's actually stopping here. Beautiful. Look at that. Wonderful stuff. Obviously, you've got the mix of the Bombardier wagons and the Rotem wagons as well. So it's quite cool that there's a mixture of those. Obviously, each of these formations must have a Rotem cab. I think, is it just a Rotem carriage and cab car at either end? I think that's the rules, and then you can have whatever in the middle. Cool, so that's a little look at fast travel. We'll have a look at fast travel in each of the routes as well, just to sort of show you what you can do in each route. Tell you what, before we go on to another route, let's quickly fast travel to another part of the route, and I'll show you what it's like and how quick it is. So let's go to Speedway. It's quite quick, you know, it's quite responsive. So if we go to Speedway, and just sort of like, you'll see it's loading. I really like these loading screens, they're quite nice. There you go, wonderful stuff. There you go, pretty instant, and you know, it's nice, it's quite seamless, so I'm hoping that once we have route hopping it's quite seamless as well. Oh, there you go, there's a route map as well. Obviously it's highlighting the San Bernardino line there. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, so that is a little look at fast travel around the San Bernardino line. So let's have a look at, I think we'll have a look at Frankfurt Fulda next. So here we go, Frankfurt Fulda to Kinzigtalbahn. Explore the rails of the sprawling modern metropolis of Frankfurt and take control of regional commuter and intercity express duties in Train Sim World. Lean into the action with the all-new DBBR 411 Ice-T, tilting heavy metal optimised for smooth and faster travel. An extravaganza of electric traction awaits. Lovely stuff, so let's jump into it. As you can see, the timetable's got 527 services, which is pretty darn good. We've also got 10 scenarios. Blimey heck, that's quite a lot of scenarios, isn't it? Oh yeah, you've got some for the Flix train, as you can see there, the Flix train Vectron. Jumping into the timetable, you get obviously the star of the show, the DBBR 411 ICET, which does all manner of services. Full line runs, there's a few shorter runs as well. As you can see, there's some that go to Hanau, which is quite cool. So a lot of variation in ICE movements. You've got the DBBR 114, which is very similar to the 143, and that does all the sort of passenger runnings. I think passenger running towards Frankfurt, I think. And then obviously the Dostos are the other way, I believe. I think so. Yeah, they're all the other way, sort of. We've also got the DBBR 423, which takes control of the S-Bahn movements, which I think is a part of the S8 and the S9 lines of the Rhine-Main S-Bahn. And as you can see, they're about 15 minutes each. And of course, if you get the deluxe edition, you get the Flixtrain Vectron, which we had a run of last night, and it's quite cool. It's quite interesting. It's very striking. That's a way to put it. You also get the DB version of the Vectron. Obviously, if you don't see either of the Vectrons, just click onto one of the Vectrons and the different ones are there. Obviously, the last Vectron I gave a go of was the Flixtrain one. But if you're struggling to find the DB version or the Railpool version, make sure you select any of the Vectrons that are available in the timetable and you'll get the different versions here. The Flixtrain Vectron only has 6 services, but I think this is something that can be built on in future, because obviously Flixtrain runs pretty much all over Germany, so any modern German routes will have Flixtrain from now on, so that's going to be quite cool. This is also a very good opportunity to have a look at the layer selector. So obviously if you go up to here and click layers, you can see that there's no manner of layers here, so this is all the layers that will come to the route once the compatible contents come across. And the point of this layer selector is that if you're struggling on performance and one layer's causing it, you can turn it off, which is really handy. Obviously in here, I've not really deselected anything, but once the layers do come from the compatible content, I'll have a little play around with this, because obviously certain things like some of the ICE trains will probably be higher on performance because, you know, they're 9 coaches long and all the simulgraph and all that sort of stuff is based on 9 carriages long, so it makes it a bit more performance heavy. So yeah, once all the other stuff comes across, I will have a little go at this and just sort of see how much it improves certain routes. Because obviously you can turn off an ICE 3 and you can still keep the ICET if you wanted to. So you can even turn it off if you're struggling with the frame rate. Obviously the ICET is probably going to be the most demanding, so you can turn that off. So let's jump into the Frankfurt Fulda route, and I'm going to show you the route hopping point at Fulda, because that's familiar territory, and obviously we see Fulda on the Kassel-Würzburg route, so let's jump on into it. So here we go, this is Fulda station. As you can see, if we jump into the live map, you can see that the Kassel-Würzburg route would carry on down here. So we kind of spur off Kassel-Würzburg and head off this way. So if you have Kassel-Würzburg, obviously you'll know this section of route as you approach into Fulda. But let's have a little look at the route hopping point, which is... there it is. So yeah, same sort of spiel. Click X and it'll tell you what routes you can hop to. Obviously we can't do that just yet, but once we can, I will certainly have a little look at it. But that's how you do it. So pretty much wherever you spawn in the map, there'll be a route hopping point. So I think these are set up to be where there's like a default spawning position for each station. So the route hopping point is essentially where you spawn. So if you're struggling to find it, it's there. Or it's this little icon on the map as well. Another quick thing I want to have a look at is the track shadow rendering, which looks quite cool. So obviously this sort of like line here, this shadow is like an artificial shadow that they've made, so it improves how the route looks, which is quite cool. I mean, I've not really noticed much of a difference, but I never really noticed the whole route shadow thing beforehand, so not too much of an issue. But for those that notice it, there you go, it's there. So whilst we're here, let's have a little look at the map and let's see if we can find a train along the route, and then we can hop to a station nearby. And just to show you the seamlessness of the fast travel, there's a freight train there, so let's jump there. What's this station called? Flieden. Let's jump there, and we should see a freight train when we arrive there. And just like that, we are here at Flieden, and there's that freight train we saw on the map a minute ago. So it's quite a cool little feature. We've also got new PIS here, which is quite cool. So yeah, very cool little feature to fast travel. So if you want to see a train that you want to take control of, you can jump to wherever in the route and do it. So yeah, lovely stuff. Right, so that's fast travel and the Kinzigtalbahn. Let's jump into the West Coast Main Line, which is the one I'm most excited to have a look at. So finally, let's have a little look at the West Coast Main Line South, London Euston to Milton Keynes, and this is the route I've been most excited for, and I know a lot of people have been excited for this route. So this is the biggest timetable out of the core routes, and obviously we've got 690 services there, which is pretty extensive. We've also got 8 scenarios, which some are for the 350 and some are for the Class 390. Obviously the Class 390 you get as part of the deluxe edition. And of course a training module. So yeah, let's jump into the timetable and have a look at this beautiful stuff. So first off, we've got the Class 350, which is obviously debranded because there was some issues with licensing, but to be honest, the livery isn't that bad. I think the livery still looks pretty decent, to be honest. I know that a lot of people are upset with the loss of the branding, but it's something that could be brought back in, you know. So the way that they've left some of the station plaques and stuff, it could be brought back in if they were able to resolve the issue. But for the time being, this is what we get. This is the 350 that we get, and it looks decent. Obviously with the Class 350, this is what you do the Conductor Mode on, and we'll have a little look at the Conductor Mode for that. But as you can see, we've got 244 services with the Class 350, and it does all manner of stuff. Some semi-express, some all-stoppers. They're good fun. Obviously, a key thing to mention here is the conductor mode is these little tickets here in the timetable mode. So if you jump into that Crew to London Euston one, you get started, you can choose to be either a driver or conductor. So obviously we'll have a quick little look at conductor mode. We won't do a full conductor mode thing today, we'll do that in a separate video, but that's how you do it if you're unsure how to do it. So it's pretty much similar to if you was to jump into a normal service to drive, you can jump in as a conductor as well. Also included as part of the West Coast main line, you've got the Class 37-2, which is the pantograph version. Obviously, we saw the 377 first in East Coast way back like 5 years ago. And this does mainly Watford Junction to East Croydon runs, which is quite cool. I think these do a couple of stops along the way, so quite cool little runs, and we'll be doing this in a separate video at some point. We've also got the Class 66, which does a little bit of freight here. It does quite a bit of freight, actually. A lot of hour-long runs between Milton Keynes and Willesden. So a lot of freight action for you Class 66 lovers. And of course, we've got the 1972 tube stock, which does a lot of running between the Queen's Park and Harrow and Willesden. What I'm thinking of doing with the 1972 stock at some point is doing sort of a before versus after look at the Bakerloo line section in the West Coast main line and the actual Bakerloo line route, which will be quite a little cool comparison video. But yeah, we get the 1972 stock and you get quite a lot of services for that. And of course we've got the Class 390 Pendolino, which comes in the 9 car and 11 car variant and does pretty much 4 line runs, some stopping at Watford Junction. So Class 390 Pendolino, it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, let's jump into a Class 350 conductor mode service. We might as well. We'll do like 1 or 2 stops, I think. So let's jump into, let's have a look. We'll jump into that one, London Euston to Milton Keynes, 1 hour and 10 minutes. We won't do the full lot, but we'll jump into that, and I'll give you a little look around Euston as well. So click conductor mode, and you will literally spawn in at Euston, and then you've got to go find your train. So here we go, this is London Euston, and it looks absolutely stunning. So conductor mode, you literally spawned into the main bit of London Euston. You've got to go find your train, and our train is on platform 11 there. So if we run across to platform 11, which I think is this way, and then you can jump into the rear of the train and start setting it up. Here we go, platform 11, I think. There we go, this is our train here. So literally go across, and then you need to open the rear doors, get onto the train, wait for it to open, pop in there, and then you need to open the local door down here. So this is how you do it. So best bit of advice is to crouch down and open the guard panel, and then you need to put the guard key in and open the local door, which is the black button there. There you go, and also press the red button and it opens the other doors. So there you go. Lovely stuff. And then you can see all the passengers are loading there. Wonderful. Lovely stuff. Right, let's get the doors shut. So the first thing you've got to do is close the doors there and then check that everything's all good. Seems all good to me. And then we can close our local door, and to do that you need to take the key out, because then the local door will then shut. So if you press off, your door will shut, and then you need to press the buzzer as well. So wait for our doors to shut and then press the buzzer twice. There you go. And then close the guard panel. Lovely stuff. And then you've got to go check some tickets, so let's do that. So we've got 13 tickets to check and we've got 6 miles to do it. Let's have a look at you. What have you got? London Euston to Apsley on the 7th of July 2019. No, that ticket is 5 years out of date. Get off my train. Right, cool. So you go down here. There's bags in the corridors, so you have to tell them to shift them out. So listen, don't leave stuff in the corridors, please. I'll trip over it and hurt myself. What about your ticket, eh? You're going to Milton Keynes on the 21st of July 2019. What? Oh, is that the date? Okay, sure, that's fine. Okay, so that's the date today, apparently, 2019. So yeah, that's fine. So that ticket was probably valid. I'm not too sure. Anyway, let's keep going. Blimey neck, look at all these bags down here. Right, get them out of the way, get them out of the way. Right, so that's pretty much the gist of it. Let's quickly say to you, Bletchley, yeah, you're all fine, cool. So that's essentially guard mode. You open the doors, you shut them, and then you go around checking tickets. We'll obviously have a full look at conductor mode in a separate video. We'll have a good bit of fun with it. So that's what you get for conductor mode, which is another key feature as well. So lovely stuff. Let's do a bit of fast travel, because I think you can fast travel whilst in a service. I'll tell you what we are going to do. We're going to jump into Watford Junction, I think. That's what we're going to do. Let's fast travel there. Lovely stuff. So it should just cancel that service, so we'll no longer be a guard. And just like that, we're here at Watford Junction. Obviously, we're still a guard for some reason, but that's fine. But yeah, I think that's all the core features. I don't think I've missed anything, but if I have, please do let me know. But yeah, those are the core features and a first look at each of the routes for Train SimWorld 5. So to close things off for this video, I thought I'd jump into the Class 390 Pendolino here at Milton Keynes, and as you can see, the Class 390 is absolutely stunning. So there we go, that was a little bit of a first look of the core features of Train SimWorld 5 and a little bit of a look at the core routes. What are you thinking about Train SimWorld 5? Are you enjoying it so far? Let me know in the comments. Of course, just a bit of general admin. Obviously, if you want to get the standard edition of Train Sim World and get the free core routes, which is obviously West Coast Mainline South, San Bernardino and Frankfurt Fulda, it's 40 quid. If you want to get the deluxe edition, which brings across Cajon Pass, the Pendolino and the Flixtrain Vectron, that's 60 quid. And then you've also got a special edition, which brings in all manner of stuff. So have a look at the different editions and see what works for you. So as we've just had a Pendolino arrive on the other platform over there, I'm going to leave that video there. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please smash that like button and subscribe. If you're new, I'd massively appreciate it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next video. Bye bye.